my prayer is that in God's wisdom, because I want us to start this discussion, you will be the type of a person who is able to prepare socially. So 4 points you have said about: number one, know yourself and accept yourself. Number two, be clear about your life purpose and live with it. Because if you live to feel your life purpose, by old age, you have a lot of contact and people you can actually live with. Number three, which I've said, the final result, you must have friendships that last, not flower girls who no longer needed after the wedding. Are we together? Get new friends. And I told you the definition of good friend is a person with the right of interference. You trust him so much that he's not afraid of telling you what you are doing is wrong. He knows you'll be annoyed, go up, then come down, and you talk sense. So he is not afraid of you getting annoyed. That kind of a person will last for a long time, and it's important. However, if I had time, I wanted us to also spend time on medical preparation. You know, nobody helped me to understand that Shell had a medical cover for me all my years. Good medical cover for me and my family. Until I retired, and it was my chance to go to look for a medical cover. To my surprise, no company wants an old man for medical cover. First one, no, we don't cover people of your age. Another one, they try to make it so expensive that you wonder, do I pay it? Now, yeah, I see you don't pay it and you get sick, and chances of getting sick are higher now than before, it will be worse, isn't it? So I always now advise people, join a private medical cover 1 year before retirement. Because as long as you join it earlier, at that time it will accept you. Then don't make a cover. You have a cover for maybe only half a million cover. And that will be very little. The pension per year will be very little. Very small cover. As soon as you retire, you don't get a new cover. You increase it. Are they likely to refuse? No. The regulatory authority will not allow them to rule you out. You just increase it. So you need to understand medical cover is a critical requirement for retirement, but you need to start it at an early age. But of course, the other things, at the time we'll talk about it, that your body in retirement is harvesting how you treated your body before retirement. Okay, getting the statement? So if you are careless with what you eat, careless about exercise, careless with lack of rest, you still can cope. Once you are old, the body says, you have mistreated me, I will now mistreat you. You need to understand that's medical. That's what I'm calling medical preparation. The third thing I wanted to talk about is financial preparation, but that one was well covered, my friend. At the medical preparation, I say retire near medical facilities and medical cover. Don't start thinking I'm going to retire in Saburu because I have 300 acres there. Those are good for your son. If you must retire, you must be near a hospital. Are we together? You must be near a hospital. It's not because you are sick, but because you are likely to get sick. So a friend of mine, the father was somewhere in the Rift Valley. So he had so many medical cover. I think it was in his 80s. He had so many medical emergencies. He would drive all the way and bring him back. When it went too much, he went and told him, what are you actually doing on this farm? In the 80s, tell me what you are doing. They could not convince him. He took both of them, mother and father, and brought them to Nairobi. And the guy was dead within 2 years. But he had 2 years of peace. Because if you get sick and it's his house, you just rush him to hospital. Are we together? So instead of your son doing it, why don't you plan properly? You can't be in your 70s and 80s, far away from a good medical facility. It's not just enough to have a medical cover. The cover may be useless if you are located yourself somewhere else where flying doctors might not arrive on time. So it's important that you, and again, we could have spent a lot of time on that area. But there's something else I wanted to mention after financial preparation is what I call ministry preparation. Ministry preparation is things you do not because of money, but they make you happy with yourself. There are people you have helped. They have never paid you in return, but every time you see them succeed, you sleep like a baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm calling ministry. things you do not for money, but it's a way of contributing to society. People might call them hobby, but sometimes hobby add nothing. But it must be the kind of thing that is investing in other people. And you're not investing in them so that they have, by that time you are old. You're investing them from early so that by the time of retirement, you continue. Like I spent a lot of my time talking in universities in Kenya. Somebody had me, I've just, in July I was in medical, in more university. Said, who paid the flight? You don't expect the students to pay. It's my pension. But I enjoy it. I come out with those young people who are now grandchildren. I talk with them and I come and sleep like a baby. You need to find out what can you do that is adding value on others and it's something you do even after retirement. Are we together? I hope you start early. This is a very critical issue, by the way. If you are not doing something that makes you feel you are contributing to society, you don't want to die. And if you commit suicide, you go to hell. So it's very important to understand you must have something in your life that makes you wake up every morning. Don't see waking up like a duty. You are looking forward to doing something. That's what I'm calling ministry. Again, we can spend quite a bit of time that. That's what makes life in retirement enjoyable and fruitful. The Bible says they shall bear fruit in their old age. Fruit means it's not fruit trees don't eat the fruit, do they? It means other people are eating your fruit. So you must ask yourself, what is it you are doing, not to earn a salary, but to have value, to add value to others? And can you do it in retirement? My final one, and I don't have the time to deal with it, is spiritual preparation. Please understand, without any fear of contradiction, if you are in your 70s, you are not far from heaven or hell. So it's important to understand there are people, every time they have a leg ache, they remember the animal had a leg ache, it turned out to be cancer. Now, so once they have a pain on the toe, they start thinking they're also getting cancer. And because they fear death, the wife says, ask the doctor, let's check with the doctor. Hey, I don't want to go. If you don't go, why are you complaining? Why doesn't he want to see a doctor? Because he's fearing death. Only find out to be persuaded by the wife to see a doctor. When he goes to the doctor discovers it was Jata Jiga. Now you need to understand. You need to understand. You cannot be living that life of fear and be enjoying. What are you doing? Enduring. Am I communicating? Because you are not spiritually prepared. Anyway, I've run out of time, but I hope what I have said helps you to see a few things. Anyway, let's take 5 or so minutes. And since my friend is still here, if you ask a financial one, he will help you. I can talk from experience, but I have not looked through my notes of that. Anyway, we are finishing. I promised to leave time for us to have a discussion. Sorry? Yeah, that's why I wanted us to spend time on it. Anyway, allowing you to think, let me say a few things I wanted to say about finances. But my notes can be passed on to you by faith. The first thing I wanted you to know is that one of the contributing things you can do can still give you money. Whoever began Kentucky Chicken, you have heard of Kentucky Chicken? It's in Kenya. He did it in his old age. When he was getting old, he found his life is useless. He remembered, when I was young, whenever I made chicken, my mother and the family would be very happy. So now jobless, he decided to make chicken and give the neighbors. He said, what? Give me a chicken once a week. No, the other one, give me every day. Now there are so many orders doing in his own kitchen, they persuaded him to go to a shopping center. And the shopping center, everyone will say, when you are passing Kentucky, don't pass without taking a chicken in a restaurant there. Now that Kentucky chicken is now in Kenya. By the time he was in his 80s, he was speaking all over universities about entrepreneurship. But he started it in old age. So you need to understand, even at a retirement, There is a possibility you may discover something in your life purpose that can also bring money. Are we together? So do not rule it out. It's something that is important. Some of the questions you have to answer is, how much should I save for my retirement? How much should I save for my retirement? This depends on dependents. Are you going to have any? No dependence on retirement, expect a spouse. That's the assumption. A question like, you are not intending to change significance in your lifestyle. Don't start living wealthier than when you are working. And no children at school. No, you can help your grandchildren, but they are not your responsibility. Are we together? That needs to come out clear. Prepare for slightly higher medical bills. You have no mortgage in retirement. You don't drive huge cars that are eating up your money in repair. And we can go on. Another question: what are the different investment vehicles? That was done. But one thing I want to emphasize: now that you have already invested in property, my suggestion to you is, if you are in your 50s, please find that, because that's too late to change a lot of your package. If you are 20s, you have a lot of this talk is not useful to old people. It's more useful to younger people. Would you agree with me? Yeah, because if you are old, you don't have enough time to change. The miracle he called compound interest works on time. If you have only 1 year remaining, compound interest is not your friend. Am I communicating? That if for example, at the age of 25, you decide to invest 1,000 shillings a month, by the time you are 60, you might turn your money into an annuity that will bring you 100,000 shillings until you die. Am I saying accept the figures? Are you hearing? Young people, are you hearing me? Just put 1,000 shillings somewhere. Compound interest will make it a miracle by the age of 60. But then at that time, don't take it and start eating it. Buy something called an annuity. What an annuity? It's like a pension. You pay lump. You ask the insurance guy, if I wanted to earn 100,000 shillings a month until I die, how much do I give you upfront? Then they do calculations, because they'll take your money and invest it and see how much they can pay you. Maybe if you give them, let's say 10 million. Again, I'm looking at my friend to correct me. If you give them 10 million, they might actually give you more than 100,000 shillings a month. If you tell your property at $1 million, if you keep it as property, you are still not liquid. Are we together? So turn the property into something liquid. Make it into an annuity. Buy something that promises you an income until you die, and if you allow them until your spouse also dies. So that's important. That is, in addition to your pension, you have another source of income. Am I clear? And that's a choice you have to make, and that's important. The other thing is, if you don't want confusion in old age, write a will. And write it early. Are we together? You are allowed to revise it, but write it very early. You know, some old people don't write a will. They keep saying, I'll write it when I have seen how you treat me. In other words, they are trying to manipulate their sons. Then you lose friendship. I talked about that earlier, isn't it? And that will be something that you need to ask yourself, is that something you are doing? So have a clear succession plan, another item. A lot of the properties you do, before you are 80, please hand over when you are still alive. Are we together? Otherwise, it will be idle property. At the age of 80, running around after tenants may have its own repercussions. Are we together? So don't wait to die to pass on your property. Pass it when you are still alive. Then your sons will not fight over it at a later time. And I think that will be something very, very important to talk about. The other thing is, I would have wanted to spend a bit of time talking about, but anyway, I'm still waiting for questions. So I better not I'm getting attracted to talking. But the best thing is for you to ask a question. I've not been retired for too long, but I can share my little experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. I really like your speech. I will just ask One, assuming I'm 62 years, I'm about to retire, and I'm about to marry a new wife. What can you advise me?
I want to advise you 3 things. Number one, there is a great likelihood the girl you're about to marry is a young girl. Are we together? And because it's a young girl, ask yourself, is she really interested in my body or my money? And that's where the trouble comes. Even people where their wives have died are getting a lot of trouble because they marry small girls and they are told, if you want me, sign here. Or their children are disinherited, everything goes to a new wife. Have you heard of those stories? So that's the first thing you must ask yourself. Why do you want to destroy your own family? Number two, what do you think your wife will do? If you get her, you are getting a wife at 62, you have had another one for 40 years, or 30 years, whatever. There will be a problem. So you'll be sorting out the problem here as more problems are rising over there. And that's something that is important. Number three, and importantly, if you're intending to marry, this is the time when you should first of all put a clear will and hand over all your property to your first family. Now begin with a new family. And the girl will leave you very quickly. Because it doesn't make sense. Even in the courts of law these days, they are talking about contribution. Am I right? This girl contributed nothing. So you first of all tell her, now that we did not make money together, I'm giving my wife and her children all this. I'm only left with a few shillings. But since you are young, you help me to grow old. Is he likely to still stay? No. I've answered your question, I think. Okay. Well, that's a very important question. If you remember, I used to be the show manager in Kisumu, 1980. If you remember one of my staff, when you were told by HR, we must your people when they are 1 year to retirement. So I went to a museum, I was in my 30s. I went to a museum and said, I just want to know, you are retiring next year. He said, Muse, I don't know where they go, young. They are the ones that are Muse, but they are calling me Muse. And my dad said, Muse, you can't tell me to retire. I've just gotten an angel. He said, Malaika. Nilipata Malaika. I said, what do you mean by Malaika? I don't have the term. That's when after a lot of questions, he said, a child. I said, at your age, in your 50, you are 55, and you're getting a child, you are married a new one last year. Now, so you need to understand that a lot of people marrying at 62 are driving blind. You know, in other words, they are not looking ahead. They only see today. And that's what I told her, unfortunately, I'm not the one with the file. HR says, you read Upende, Usipende. And you actually left. I tried to do my best to prepare him, but there's very few you can do. You can't kill the child. So he has to find out living with the child. Anyway, so we have not covered other areas, but I hope you have seen about social preparation. Yes.
Maybe you can.
For the sake of others.
Yeah, your experience, you mentioned about investment in property and at a point where they are not important to one that thing. But we know also nowadays maybe we are not buying so much property to give to our children. We believe we are giving them an education, they will get theirs. At what point does one start converting maybe such properties to liquidity as you advise?
Before 60. At least don't start your retirement without liquidity. Are we together? Because you have no idea when an emergency comes. And your plan is not to be somebody else's responsibility. Don't plan for a medical alarm. Are we together? So it's important that you turn to liquidity. If where you are now, you're liquidity. I would say before you retire, find 2 or 3 properties that can at least give you, I'm making an assumption, can give you $1 million or 2 million. Turn it into liquidity before you retire, so that you are sure, in addition to your pension. Because pensions, my friend can give me answer. I used to be our pension fund trustee before I retired. Then after that, I became the chairman of our pension association. So I've been involved in this thing for a long time. But I want to tell you, pensions normally are a third. If you have worked long enough, they are a third of your final salary. Am I right? Now, my friends, even if you have full salary, you are suffering. Can you imagine your salary when you are only earning a third? I don't know because my workmates in jail used to earn 2/3 of their final salary in Britain when they retire. In Kenya, you only earn a third. So it means you must look for something. First of all, pension is a very useful thing. And I think he mentioned it. Number one, with the pension, there's government tax remission. Your pension, like now my pension, is not taxed. So any other investment will be taxed before you use it. So why would you not have a pension when you can see? In fact, for some pension you have, you can enhance it. That's the term you normally use. Enhancing means your employer is giving this, you have contributed this, you can contribute more, so that by the time you get of retirement, you have more than a third. And by the way, a third is for those who have worked for long, not for those who just came the last minute. So it's important to understand then why you need to turn to liquidity at that early time. Have I convinced you? But the first thing about pension is the fact that the government encourages you, so they doesn't tax you. The next thing is, even if there's little money, if you want to plan, you can. Like I do consultants work, and I register a consultants firm as soon as I retired. So I've done many consultancies, but they are not clear. Sometimes I have a lot, sometimes I have nothing. But the pension, however small, is every month. You see the use of I can plan, I can tell you I'll pay your bill next week because I know what my pension. The other ones I'm not sure. So it's very important to have that liquidity, even if you are having other income during retirement. The third thing about pension is that it's government protected. RRDA are tough, so they cannot allow people to play your pension fund. It is inspected. Again, am I right? Who is in charge of it? It's Minet, and you are inspected by the government. Yeah, so it means the pension is a protected income. That's very important. But you need more than it. Have I answered your question? Okay. Who wants to be the last? You are allowed to ask questions. Yes. Because you are my co-facilitator.
It's good to ask a question.
Okay.
How does fulfilling retirement look like beyond that?
It doesn't have to be in my mind, my experience. What I've been sharing with you is what has made me fulfilled. Number one, for the last many years, I was clear what my life's purpose is. If you go to my website is my name, www.johnganga.org. If you go there, as a way of mentoring people, I have put what my life's mission is. And Shell could only fulfill it one way. After retirement, I found many ways. Like what I'm now doing, I'm fulfilling my life's calling. So when you call me, I'll come in a rush. Why? I sleep like a baby in the evening. I feel I had an opportunity to share my life with younger people. And because of sharing with them, they will not repeat my mistakes. At least now they will make only original mistakes. Because mine, they understand they can avoid them. So the first thing is, that thing makes me enjoy my life, living my life. As I move from one university to the other, talking to young people, it just gives me. So that's the first thing that it gives me. Number two, when I learned the secret of living within my income, it means I'm not full of debt. Because part of the problem of old age, and you talked about it, is having debt. You are getting debt, but your income is not confirmed. So there are many people are trying to evade auctioneers. In old age, you can't run as fast as auctioneer. So it's important to understand what gives you fulfillment is to live a simple life with no debts that are not covered. There's nothing wrong with having your debt as long as it's covered, isn't it? Like, for example, I can buy a house, and the value of the house is the one that is covering the loan. Are we together? So the worst case scenario is that if I'm unable to pay the loan, they will sell the house. I was at zero earlier, I'm back at zero, no problem. I don't take debts that are not covered by something, and of course, as long as they are debt, I don't call them my own, and I'm saying they are potential. You can't call a mortgage house your own. It will be your own after you pay, isn't it? So you don't, even if you lose it, you knew it was not yours. And that gives me a lot of, so living my life purpose, then living without having debts that are not protected, living within my income. I can drive a small car, I have no problem. I do not feel like I have to, and I'm not trying to change where I've lived. I've lived here for over 26 years, and I'm not trying to change. I feel okay. Number 3 that is important is I'm full of friends. I spend a lot of my time mentoring people. I may meet more than 5 people in 1 week. And that gives me experiences. I meet various people, some in their 60s, some in their 50s. And because of dealing with young people, some in their 20s. All they want is to hear about my life and seek advice on various issues. I live a fulfilled life.
Thank you. Thank you. One more last. What are your regrets?
Regrets?
Yes.
I will not tell you if any of them. I am now gotten used to that question. It's a question of if he has failed, it's okay for me to also fail. And I don't think I want to make you happy to fail. Young people always ask you, and give me one regret. I started answering them until I realized what they are really after is how to lower their standard. I would like you to continue aiming high. Are we together? Yeah. But if you get a regret, see, you now know Faith can give you my telephone number. And we talk now one-on, but I don't want to teach you where I have failed so that you specialize on it. Okay, I think we have finished our. Okay, one more. Oh, sorry. You have a. Can you give me mic?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much for that enlightening session. There's something you talked about, the stories that you have with your wife until midnight. And it's something that we shy away talking about because we all come from different cultural backgrounds with a lot of stereotyping that you should not talk to a woman for this long, here and there. That women are just, you go home, give me food, sleep, what do you want, what do they want, and you leave. And I believe most of us, we are in that category where we are not in a position to have those, we call them pillow talks, eh? Yeah, pillow talks.
For you, a friend is the guy you meet for a drink.
Yes. Okay, so for me is how do we reverse this trend, because it has a very huge impact in our retirement. How can we reverse that today? Okay, and go back and start learning again and rekindling this conversation so that as we grow, we are not strangers with our spouses.
I think 3 things. Number 1 is you must have a reason. I hope today's talk has made you to have a reason. Because you're not investing in anything unless you can see a return. Are we together? Do you start understanding all these workmates of yours? The other day I was asked by Shell Sold Out, the new company is called People. And they asked me to go and give a talk. I would people say, that will say, who is he? I remember I was in top management of the organization. But now all those people are gone. They retired in 20 years. They have all the people that were my immediate reportees. The only people I can remember are the in top management, were the ones who invited me. You need to understand, these guys you see here, you'll be asking, and where did Otieno go? They have no idea. They have not seen you for 20 years. Am I communicating? Your wife is the only one you can be sure about. So, keep friends, but please remember, they are likely to be available in retirement. First reason. Second, even if you have friendship in old age, one of the challenges of old age is trouble. Like now, I've reduced my friend at night. Because you get a flash and your eyes go blind and you be, hey, I would have done an accident. So now, if you call me for tea, not dinner. I want to be available. So the only person who can be there in the evening is my wife. Am I communicating? This thing you are running around with people going drinks in the evening. Who is she? Not because you want, but your eyes will tell you. So you need to, I'm trying to give you reasons why she'll be the only one available. Because we are there together in the evening. Number 3, let's understand, it has happened enough number of times that some men, and I have several of them, somewhere in their 40s, they were not rich enough. They started running their normal family and a dogo. You know the meaning of dogo? And they said that they thought since he is younger, she'll look after me in old age. The moment he gets sick, he is driven back to his first wife. I've dealt with several cases where the sons are saying, no, you dropped our mother, you can't come. Now they have to beg. The other one says, stay there outside. You are not coming back to my house. You stay your youth with this woman. She must look after you. Now you need to understand that even if you have dogos, they can't stomach you. They only need you now. How foolish should you be? That the woman who will accept you in old age, you are spending no time with her. Isn't that a level of foolishness? Do you agree with me? It's a level of foolishness. So you need to understand that the reason why you're with her is not because she's handsome or beautiful, it's because you need her. Now let's see. Once I've convinced you it is important, I want to give you 3 recommendations. Number 1, start dating again. Remember, you saw her over there, you liked her, but finally for her to say yes. Start it now. People talk about courtship before marriage. They forget there is courtship in marriage. If I don't take my vows, like I took her to Mombasa last week, we celebrated our 46th wedding anniversary, and I didn't take her somewhere. So after that, when I gathered enough pension, I took her to Mombasa just for 2-3 days. We are able to talk. That's called dating. Am I communicating? And you don't have to take her to Mombasa. You can just take her to the village, wherever. But she knows you are investing in her. You need to start that early. After all, by the time you are 40s, your children are big enough to be left at home. Am I right? It is important that you start dating. And if you date and the first week there is fireworks, don't worry. Enough number of dates will reduce the firework. So invest. There are some things you give up. Like if it's a girl who you say, how are you? Who do you think you are? Leave her alone. When it's your wife and she asks you who do you think you are, you persevere. Until she finally the relationship is accurate, build. That's the first thing. Date her. Number 2, think about her language of love. What makes her happy? If your job is to make her happy. I've written a book called Friendship. Next time you are near Scripture General Bookshop, or if you read digital books, just Google in Amazon, The Friendship by John Nganga. And I try to share how to make friends, how to restore friendship in the book. But if you want a physical book, you can get from Scripture Union. They have a bookshop at St. Paul's University on the Boer side, or at Hurlingham, near the Shell petrol station. Because it will be important that not only are you dating, you are understanding her language of love. What makes her happy? Not what makes you happy, what makes her happy. And it's important when you start doing it, according to the Bible, Romans chapter 12, when you love somebody who is not loving back, it's like you are putting coals of fire on him. Have you read that verse? The offender be burned and start responding. I don't know whether it will take 2 days or 20 years, but it will happen. The Bible promises. So it's important that you actually commit to understand her language of love and invest in it. Thirdly, and importantly, which is a very important thing, is to understand that this thing is for long term. I've been working in 1 month, nothing has happened. It's a long term thing, isn't it? Do you know it's likely that you might retire at 60 and die at 100? Now those are how many years? 40 years. And here you have worked only 30. Can you see retirement is longer than working life? So please plan with it long term. Find a way of dealing with it. And there are several tricks about it. There is a question of who does she like? Offer to take her to the family she likes. When you're in that condition, you see, these days instead of taking me to his people, he's taking me to mine. It will make her start talking in the presence of others until both of you, as you are coming back, you are able to talk to each other. Does that make sense? Okay. That was the last one. This is now the final one.
I'm just wondering, we have talked so much of men taking us out. Can it be the reverse?
I've been assuming that you are playing me. The truth of the matter is, my sister, if the husband is not your friend, please accept my sympathy in advance. Men will make your work very, very difficult. So if you don't befriend your husband, please accept to endure the old age. Remember, even if my wife doesn't want to talk to me, she has nobody else to talk to. I'm not communicating. So it's not a man thing. It's both of people that require. You can't talk to yourself. You will think you are mad. So it's important to look for somebody whom you can communicate with. So although I'm saying men, because I've not been a woman, it's exactly the same. If you hear me talking to midnight, it's not a monologue. It's because he's asking a question, we are talking. Monologue is not a discussion. Are we together? So it is your wife who says, hey, darling, you know you're not gonna like this time. Bible says it's been so cold. I can go to Mombasa and I realized what he's after. The rest of it I took over. I can claim to be the one. But the part I hear did not come from me. Are we getting the point? Yeah. So it's important to understand a wise woman is designing an enjoyment in her old age. And that is a very, very important thing. That was the final one. Not because there are no more questions, but now if that was the last and this final, what are we calling you? Closing.
Mine is not an information, no, we don't need any questions, but something to look at. You said the liquidate assets around 6.
Not all assets.
Okay.
Enough to live on.
Now to live.
Yes.
Now you retire at 60, you liquidate all the assets. Then next week you have nowhere to go, so you don't wake up in the morning to go and do whatever is that. You do yesterday, then you don't know what to do. What do? You spend your money.
Unfortunately, you have forgotten my 5 points. There are 5 different areas. One area is something to do in retirement that positively affects people. Sometimes you might use money or not use money. If liquidated money, what do you think you are using it for? It's so that it gives you something to do. Like for example, you feel like your job is to help visit children's homes. So part of your money will be going to children's homes. So you must not look. That's why I was very careful to give 5 areas. Finance is only, social is only 1. You must not retire without something to do that adds value to others. Not to you, but others. I read for you, as I told you, the Bible was saying that they shall bear fruit in their own. And I told you, trees don't eat their own fruits. Fruits are for other people. So, and remember, the first thing is, you're not liquidating everything. You start calculating how much you need per month. You only have liquidity for about that period. That is enough money to pay for the medical cover, enough money for what you are eating, enough money for some travel. That's what you liquidate. The rest of it you don't have. And then there must be something you are doing in retirement, constantly, regularly, in your old age. If it requires money, you must plan. Okay, you will not allow anymore.